says, are you still doing IRL with Foot Girl?
Good question.
So somebody sent me a clip of Foot Girl super chatting LolCow Live and asking to get back in. I think I put it in here. I don't remember. Anyways, she super chatted them asking to get back in and said she missed her family. And then Keemstar was like, well, you said you were going to link up with the Thorps, so I can't have you back in. And then somebody else told me that she said she wouldn't hang out with us if she could get back in. And I DM'd her.
That's very against TOS for him to do that.
It is against TOS. That's true. But I DM'd her because we were supposed to be meeting up January 29th. She said that she rented a room at a hotel for us to meet up at. And I DM'd her and asked her like if that was true or like maybe I was mishearing something. And
what was true?
If she said she wasn't going to hang out with us, because I was like, I just want to know if our plans are good for the 29th, and I never got a response. So it looks like that's off the table.
Well, ho's got a hoe. Don't know what to say.
I mean, I don't really know her, so it's not really a blow. It's just okay.
Well, she's a loser, though.
Yeah, it's lame, especially because what she told me. Let me just share this since we're at this point. Let me just share this to everybody. It's especially lame considering what she said about Keemstar earlier in our messages. Let me show you what she said. Okay, so she said, Keem messaged me after the stream that you were in my chat and asked if we were collaborating together, and if so, I would be banned. Lol, so watch me get banned off of that today, which I'm fine with. LMAO, just wanted to tell you that. I said, like, lol, he's so petty for real, blah, blah, blah. Do you mind sending me those DMs? If not, literally no problem, but it would just be funny to show. She said, lol, I'm at my parents' today, so I'm not at my normal setup, but I will definitely come on a different day. I would send you the DMs, but I want to try and be as chill about this as possible. Like, give him really no reason to throw me out of the community fairly. Like, I was a part of his community. I tried out for something. Understandably, they weren't interested in me, and then they had you on, and I became a fan of you because you're very talented. Why should I not be able to put myself out there after they weren't interested and after you offered a platform for me to gain views from? Like, I just want him to look like a total douche if he bans me from Discord. Better for the storyline, I think. Like, make him look so petty to the point of hopefully more people seeing how unreasonable he is.
Oh, I never knew she said that to you.
Yeah, which I was like, oh, that's cool. Like, he shouldn't have any say over what you do with other people.
Yeah, like a basic integrity in a matter that is not really a very big deal, and that you shouldn't let people dictate.
Yeah,
these sorts of things.
She said,
especially when they have no power.
She said, exactly. I didn't burn him. I didn't fuck him over. I'm just taking an opportunity for myself, and I think you're cool AF. So, after all that, and then she said that he banned her, and I was like, LMAO, he's petty, blah blah blah, and then never got a response. So,
yeah,
whatever.
So what you find is that people
about.
Initially seem to have integrity, but in actual fact, it's usually just that they're temporarily fueled by anger.
Yeah.
And that their when their anger dies off,
yeah,
it turns out the integrity isn't there. So
yeah,
people are fueled by their emotions, and when their emotions change, their actions change. So when you're insulted, you lie that the issue is integrity. And then when you're lonely, after that wears off, you suddenly, the integrity disappears, because integrity is not something that should ebb and flow with your emotions.
Right.
Integrity is like something that is So they're just lying that they have integrity. And in fact, all they have is integrity as a cope for their emotions.
Yeah.
Yes. I also look forward to that. Love to have a debate. And that's one of my thing today is I'm a little pissed because what happens in these situations is you get this sort of lack of communication, the ghosting effect.
Mm.
And this is the millennials this is how they deal with, and your generation too, situations that you don't want to deal with. You just drop them entirely.
Yeah.
And act like you don't have any basic responsibility to continue talking to you. And so then if you continue talking, they'll say like, she's crazy.
Yeah.
Right. And this is
this
is an extraordinarily dangerous
morning, Amsterdam.
Social activity. It's extremely crazy making because you're sort of denying that a relationship exists.
By ghosting?
Right. Yeah, by ghosting. Because a relationship, even if it's a minor relationship, etiquette dictates that you handle it appropriately so that you can say at this point, I'd like to whatever, right? Or try to explain things. But you can't opt out and then just go like psycho XGF.
Yeah.
Right. Or like what your mother did to both of us is one day just go, I'm abused by you. I'm under legal protection. Right. You can't do that. And if you do that, you should take a hard L and get the shit kicked out of you publicly.
Yeah.
And people will say, oh, you're a psycho ex-girlfriend. I don't fucking care. So then the question becomes like, so how do you respond to ghosting? Yeah. And you have every right to say, that infuriates me on behalf, not just of me, who was insulted, but on behalf of society. Fuck you. Fuck you. That's not how you handle relationships. You can say ex-girlfriend, whatever, but let's go there. Because that's not what happened here. You have an obligation you have a social obligation. I'm not saying it's against the law, but you have a social obligation to, if you want to part ways, explain why.
I agree.
Even in minor areas, you have a social obligation.
Especially in this context.
You can't just decide to play this game. You should lose at this game. So MissHazed, you fucking whore, you fucking liar, fuck you.
It's especially bad considering that we had plans for January 29th. Like she told me,
fuck you,
I
bitch.
booked a hotel room. Like she told me she paid for a hotel room, and
I hope you have to eat that money. I hope you have to eat that money, and I hope you enjoy being a whore by yourself and being lonely. And you should respond. It's been long enough. And as far as Daniel Keem goes, same thing, nigga. What the fuck is your problem? We changed our branding so that it didn't seem like we were beefing with you. You've lied to us repeatedly. You've used your power to diminish our voice instead of inviting us to a conversation. Fuck you. And if I ever see you, I will confront you. And maybe someday I'll go visit you if I'm nearby. You can't just decide to opt out of the human race when you feel like it. Now you're going to be looking to your left and to your right, and rightly so, and waiting to get struck down. And that is your curse that you're going to have to live with because of your behavior. And I'm inviting you and Foot Girl and anyone else like that to make it right. But now it's going to be more difficult to make right. It's going to be more difficult. Patience is a thing. Empathy is a thing. Maybe people get busy, but at a certain point, fuck off. I get it. And that is the proper role that emotion should play. You insult us and act like, oh, they're crazy. They have no dignity. We don't owe them respect. Fuck you, you do. And you have obligations. And those obligations are enforced by shaming you.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where it ends. But that is where it goes. And any opportunity now for us to do that, we will take. Not only on behalf of ourselves, we have every right to have it on behalf of ourselves, but on behalf of society as a whole. No more doing this to people. It's literally killing people. The habit of ghosting people and then going psycho XGF is a terrible habit. You can't just opt out of relationality whenever you feel like it. I understand, and we understand, that there are some people who you can't get, there's no point in communicating with. Yes, that occurs, and you may be in that state. But these are not those situations. And you're playing off like they're in those situations is wrong. And you will pay a much lower price here to reconcile those things than you will when you meet your creator. I won't judge you, but he will judge you. And if you treat people like they're not people and treat them in a way which you would never want to be treated, that will be judged accordingly. And the price will be paid to the last penny. And I stand by that. But, okay, so yeah, once again, we have a nice sized little chat here.
Yeah, nothing to sniff at. Nothing to sniff at.
People who are loyal to us because I think they understand we're doing something different than other people. And it is what it is. We put our trust and faith in the Lord, but we do demand that these other situations get fixed. Jacinda, our neighbor, you owe us a fucking apology and to remedy the situation. Ron, our landlord, you owe us a fucking apology and to remedy the situation. Warren Police Department, you owe us an apology and to remedy the situation. State of Rhode Island, you owe us an apology and to remedy the situation. And we stand by that, and we will pursue at any point in any way we feel like remedying or enforcing that. But we are people of peace. We can have a conversation.
1,000 Trails too. Yeah, you're right.
1,000 Trails
Absolutely,
also. That's right.
Stole our.
It's harder to talk to those entities because they're not people, but there are people who are representatives. And when we bring this to their attention, they're going to have to respond. You can't just do things that don't make sense and then just go, whatever. As far as we go, that is the proper response. Now, a lot of people have advised you that what you need to do is like MissHazed's, and the reason she calls MissHazed's is because she lives in a haze of marijuana smoke.
Yeah, that's true.
Right?
That's true, yeah.
And she opts out of life in general. Mm-hmm. Very lovely young woman. no relationships, no kids, no meaningfulness in her life. And so it's not a huge surprise, but it's not a huge surprise she behaved the way she did. But this behavior is why you take, instead of taking a man to your lips and a baby to your breast, you take a marijuana, the devil's weed, into your mouth and lungs and zone out.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm.
And the reason we don't do that is because we have no inclination to do that. Because we don't need to deal with our emotions in our relationships that way, because we deal with them up front as best we can.
Mm-hmm.
And it is fucking difficult to navigate that.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
It's true.